I came home from a 16-hour shift to find my door kicked in, my fridge emptied, and my neighbor's son wearing my work boots. "They fit better on me anyway," he said. His mother just watched. I didn't say a word. But the next time I saw him in those boots, I came home from a 16-hour shift at the paper mill. It was one of those days where you can barely keep your eyes open by the time you hit the driveway. My shoulders were aching, boots caked in mud, shirt damp with sweat. I just wanted to eat something, take a shower, and collapse on the couch. I remember it was real quiet when I pulled up. Too quiet, actually. My porch light was off, which was odd because I always leave it on when I know I'll be working late. I noticed the front door right away. It was cracked open, the wood around the lock all splintered. Someone had kicked it in. My stomach dropped. Inside, every cabinet in the kitchen was open. The fridge door hung wide, nearly off the hinge. Completely empty. Not even the condiments were left. No beer. No leftovers. No eggs. Not even the damn mustard. Just gone. I moved into the living room, and that's when I saw him. My neighbor's kid. Aaron. He's maybe 14, lanky, all elbows and knees. Always hanging out on their porch across the way. He was standing right in the middle of my living room like he owned it, wearing my work boots. He looked right at me and said, real casual, "They fit better on me anyway." Like he didn't just break into my house, steal my food, and put on my damn boots. His mom was standing behind him near the doorframe. She didn't say anything. She just stared, arms crossed, no emotion on her face. Like this was normal. I didn't even respond. I just stared at them. I don't know what I expected. An apology, maybe. Some kind of explanation. But they didn't offer one. She didn't look sorry. He looked proud. I walked over, opened the fridge again, just to double check. Nothing. Completely cleaned out. Even the milk was gone. I remember just standing there for a second, my hands shaking, trying to stay calm. I didn't call the cops. I didn't yell. I didn't ask them to leave. I just stood there, saying nothing. It wasn't fear. It wasn't shock. It was something worse, like I'd already known this was going to happen somehow. Like this was just what I got for working hard, minding my business, and keeping quiet for too long. They left eventually. She called for him, and he walked right out in my boots. Didn't even try to hide them. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the couch, staring at the wall, thinking about all the times I waved at her from the yard, helped carry her groceries when her back went out, looked the other way when Aaron started hanging out with older guys in the alley. Thought maybe I was just being neighborly. Thought maybe I was being kind. A week passed. I didn't fix the door right away. Didn't restock the fridge either. Something about it just made me feel off. Then one morning I saw him again. Aaron, walking to the bus stop. Still wearing my boots. Strutting down the sidewalk like they were his. Like I didn't matter. That's when I got in my truck. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't plan it. I just felt this thing in my chest twist the wrong way. Like something that had been sitting quietly inside me had finally stood up. I drove up to the stop and parked. Opened the passenger door. Sat the other pair of boots, my backup pair, on the seat where he could see them. He turned, saw me. His smirk faded a little. I stepped out of the truck. "I want them back," I said. "Now." His mom came out of the house fast, pulling a coat over her shoulders. "Leave him alone," she shouted, already trying to make it about me. I looked at her, not raising my voice. "You let him steal from me. He wears my boots like a joke. I'm done pretending it's not happening." Aaron hesitated. Then he slowly bent down, unlaced the boots, and walked them over. Didn't look me in the eye. Just set them down on the floorboard of the truck. I didn't thank him. I didn't say anything. I just closed the door and left them there. Didn't clean them. Didn't put them back in the house. Just let them sit there in the sun. But that wasn't the end of it. Not even close. Because a few days later, I started noticing small things going missing again. This time it wasn't food. It wasn't boots. It was worse. A few days after I got my boots back, I noticed my back gate was open. I always keep it latched. It drags if you don't lift it just right, makes a loud scrape across the concrete. I'd know if someone had gone through it. I walked around to check and found cigarette butts in the corner by my shed. Not mine. I don't smoke. Someone had been standing there for a while just watching, probably. Watching the back of my house. The window to my bedroom is right above that spot. Then I saw it. The window screen had been pried loose. Bent up in the corner, like someone had started to pull it out, then stopped. I didn't sleep that night either. I put the boots away, finally. Cleaned them, polished them, put them back in the closet. But something had changed. Something permanent. A week later, I was coming home from a shift and saw Aaron standing on the porch with two of his buddies. Not kids this time, older boys. 17, 18 maybe. One of them had a shaved head and a tattoo on his neck that wasn't finished yet. They all looked right at me as I parked. Aaron grinned and said, "Nice truck." Real slow, like he was daring me to respond. I didn't. That night, I installed cameras. One out front, one in the back, one by the shed. I didn't want trouble. I wanted proof. 2 days later, the footage caught one of those older boys trying the back door. He didn't break in. Just checked the knob. Looked straight up at the camera and smiled. Like he knew it was there and didn't care. I printed the footage and walked across the street. Knocked on the neighbor's door. She opened it and immediately looked tired. Like she knew why I was there. "Your kids' friends are trying to break into my house now," I said. I held up the flash drive. "I have video." She just stared at me. Said nothing. "Do you understand this isn't about boots anymore?" I asked. She shut the door in my face. That was the moment I stopped pretending we lived in the same neighborhood. That we were just neighbors. That any of this was normal. So, I stopped being quiet. I called her landlord. Sent him the video. Then I called CPS. I wasn't even sure it would do anything, but I was done keeping my mouth shut. The cops came by a few days later. Asked me some questions. Told me there wasn't enough to press charges since nothing was actually stolen this time. But then something strange happened. Aaron disappeared for a few days. Not his mom. Just him. I didn't see him at the bus stop. His buddies didn't come around. The porch stayed empty. And then one night, real late, I woke up to the sound of something hitting my window. A boot. My boot. It was sitting on the hood of my truck when I went out the next morning. One of the pairs I'd left in the closet. The door was locked. No signs of a break-in. But somehow he'd been inside. That morning, I stood at my truck staring at the boot on the hood for a long time. It was one of mine, all right. Left one. Mud still dried along the sole. Same worn crease near the toe. But I'd put them away. I knew that for a fact. They were in my closet, lined up, untouched since I last cleaned them. I checked the house again. Every lock. Every window. No sign of entry. Nothing missing. But the air felt wrong. That night, I didn't go to sleep. I turned the lights off like usual, but stayed up in the dark. Sat by the front window with a thermos of coffee and my phone in my hand, camera app ready. Around 2:30 a.m., I saw movement by the shed. It wasn't Aaron. It was his mom. She was barefoot, standing in my yard like it was hers, staring up at the house. Not moving. Not saying anything. Just watching. I opened the door and stepped out. "You need to leave." She didn't flinch. Just looked at me, calm as ever, like I was the one who'd crossed a line. "You think you're better than us?" she asked. Her voice was low, almost quiet, like we were having a normal conversation. All this because of a pair of boots. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I finally understood. "It was never about the boots," I said. "It's about the fact you think you can take anything." She didn't say a word after that. Just walked back across the yard, slow, like she had all the time in the world. The next morning, the other boot was on the porch, right next to my door, perfectly lined up with the first. I didn't touch it, didn't move it. I just stared. Later that day, the mail came. Inside the box was a small envelope. No name. No stamp. Just a single piece of paper folded up with 6 words written in pencil. "You left the door open once." I checked the cameras. Nothing. I watched the footage 4 times. Nothing on the porch. Nothing by the mailbox. No one came. That's when I started to think maybe this was never about Erin. Maybe it was her all along. Maybe the boots were just a start. And maybe I'd made a mistake thinking I could win this quietly. The letter changed everything. You left the door open once. It kept repeating in my head over and over, like it meant more than it seemed. I started going through everything. My memory, my routines, trying to think back. Had I really left a door open? Did I forget to lock it once? Was that all it took? But it wasn't just paranoia anymore. I found proof. Behind the shed, under a loose board in the fence, I found a stash. A backpack. Inside it was one of my missing shirts, a flashlight I hadn't even noticed was gone yet, and most disturbing, photos.
Printed photos of me.
Sitting on the couch, watching TV,
Sleeping.
one of them from behind me, clearly taken through the window. I don't even own a printer. That same night, I went to the police again. Brought the bag, the photos, the note. They asked if I had seen Erin lately. I said no, not for a couple weeks. That's when the officer looked uneasy. They told me Erin was listed as a runaway now. Hadn't been to school. Hadn't been seen by his friends. Not even his mom had reported him missing. When they questioned her, she said he was just staying with someone and refused to give a name.
I didn't sleep after that.
The next morning, my front porch was covered in dirt. Like someone had tracked it in barefoot, walking in circles. My security camera? Completely disconnected. Not damaged, unplugged. From inside. I changed the locks that day. All of them. Every door. Every window. I installed alarms, motion lights, bought a steel rod to jam under the doorknob when I was home. But it kept getting worse. One afternoon, I came home and my thermostat had been reset to 82. I never set it that high. I liked the house cold after work. Another time, my TV was on, playing a home video I didn't remember recording. It was my living room.
Me.
Sitting in the chair. Blurry, shaky footage. Like someone had recorded it from behind the couch. I didn't know what to do anymore. I wasn't just being harassed. I was being hunted. By someone who knew the house as well as I did. Then I found the boots again. But this time they weren't outside. They were back in my closet. Lined up neatly, soles cleaned. The exact same pair I had found on the porch. And tucked inside one of them, another note. You only think it's over. I stopped trying to fix things after that. I didn't touch the boots. I didn't move the note. I didn't call the cops again. I just stood there in my own closet, looking at my own things that weren't mine anymore. Not really. The locks didn't matter. The cameras didn't matter. None of it mattered, because whatever had been broken wasn't just the door. It was something deeper. Something I can't name. I live like a guest in my own house now. I check every room when I come home. I keep the lights on when I sleep. I keep the boots right where they were left. Haven't touched them since. Because the truth is, I don't think Erin ever really left. And sometimes, late at night, I swear I still hear footsteps in the hall. But I don't check anymore. Because deep down, I know that whatever I let in never really left. And the worst part? I think I did leave the door open. Just once.
And that was enough.